Imagine if I told you, as I did a decade ago, that in the future, the governments would be opening their borders and bringing in tens of millions of Islamicists and allowing them to rape little girls, children, to have people in massive sex trade. You'd have Islamic mayors over London, that the head of the Border Patrol and the Home Office and the paramilitary police, the federal police in the UK would be an Islamicist, not even born in the country. And that they would be absolutely engaged in a reign of total control. And that activists that exposed massive child kidnapping rings, confirmed, convicted, would then be in jail for talking about it on the streets of London, Tommy Robinson. So joining us above Waterloo Station is Harrison Smith, our intrepid reporter and crew. They're going to be out and about doing live feeds today in London, and there are more demonstrations, we're told, coming up. So Harrison, break down what you've witnessed, the historic developments that are unfolding, and your take being inside England right now, for all intents and purposes, is a police state. Under their current law, they could jail you for what you're about to say, even though that's a false interpretation. The law is corrupt. They selectively let other media outlets report it, but other media outlets in the UK are given D notices and told they can't report. This is outrageous, but then returning ISIS and al-Qaeda members are given free housing and coddled. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. Well, the good news is that the reporting ban has been lifted as of today, I believe. So now the story is actually getting out a little bit, and hopefully that means that more Brits will be aware of exactly what's going on. That's going to be the topic of our on the street interviews today. We're going to go out and see if people have heard about it and what they think about it, and get the general consensus. Your statement about England being a police state is exactly right, and I've never been here before, but when we arrived yesterday, I mean, that was the first thing that struck me, was not just the sort of overt presence of control mechanisms around, such as just, you know, things like just in front of the escalator, they have these metal bars to stop you from carrying bags on. It's like you know, an amusement park where everything is soft and nothing's too dangerous. I mean, there's this weird sense of sort of treating everybody like children, and obviously that goes over to
that's the imperial the imperial conditioning, the imperial programming. That's domestication.
Yeah, and so yesterday we went to the gates at Downing Street at Whitehall, where the protest had gone on from Friday to Sunday. They had died out by the time we got there. Now you're seeing video of it here. So we were at that gate. The police presence was definitely increased, although there was not big crowds of people. We did, as we were walking down the street, we hear this chant of Tommy Robinson's name, and so we sort of sought that out, and there were a couple guys standing on the street sort of still protesting and keeping it alive. But I do have a message from Tommy Robinson. This is something that he wants everybody to hear. He had a phone call with his wife and some of his crew earlier today, and his message is that the big protest will be on the 9th. It'll be June 9th, and so there will be more details about that coming, but that is the date that is coming up. That will be the big demonstration, and so that's what I have from Tommy today. And then tomorrow, if our luck holds out, we will be having an exclusive with Tommy Robinson, and that just sort of depends on. Yeah, really
let's not get into the details exactly, because they'll obviously try to do something there. But that's great. Get an interview with his wife. Get an interview with his crew. We've got Kalen Robertson coming on. His interview Sunday was powerful. It went viral. Drudge linked to it. Millions and millions of views. And that's with the censorship. They still couldn't suppress Infowars because of how powerful his message was. And he just said everywhere, people are talking about Tommy Robinson. They're upset. There was, you know, the D-notice to where they didn't know what was happening, and that the media wouldn't even say that he'd been arrested or put in prison. I think this has really crossed a line. I mean, I think this is a real point of no return, an event horizon. Harrison, what do you think?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think the fact that they have now removed that ban that they had placed on it really says that they kind of realized their mistake, because definitely it's it got a lot more attention, the fact that they banned you know, talking about it. You know, it's the typical Streisand effect. I mean, it happens every time, and it's like they don't learn their lesson, but they ban this, and just, you know, the awareness of it skyrockets. And also some good news from Tommy's crew is that the donations are pouring in to help his legal fund. They have pretty high hopes about the outcome of that, and being able to you know, work some magic legally to hopefully at least get him some protection in jail, if not, released early. Although, they haven't said anything concrete. They are saying that the donations are coming in rapidly, and that they say Americans are really pulling way more than their share of the weight. And they just say Americans, anything free speech. In the free speech realm, Americans just open their hearts and really pour out goodwill. And
well, they also understand that Tommy has been a champion from the beginning, exposing this whole situation. They also understand that Tommy has gone through hell, lost his business, lost everything. They understand that he is the archetypal hero, and they know what we've been through. They know what Trump's been through, his family. We know as Trump supporters wearing a Make America Great Again hat or wearing an Infowars.com or a Hillary for Prison shirt, they know what we go through. And they know about the harassment and the PIs and the lawsuits. I mean, Matt Drudge basically wears a disguise when he's out in public.
Right.
And I mean, not like a Groucho Marx, mask or anything, but, I mean, because that's what this has turned into. And we're up against a tyranny. We know we are. And we know that they're using Islam as their battering ram to bring it in and then make us comply to it when it's not compatible with our culture and our society. So I'm against bombing the Muslims and invading them. I was against all those wars. And now I'm against them coming here and taking us over as well. And just as they've said, nobody invited these folks. Nobody said we're going to conform to you. We're tired of it. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, they didn't ask the people here. That was one thing. Tommy Robinson has a very powerful speech where he says they never asked us. They never asked us if we wanted to be subjected to this. They just enforced it upon us. That's it's a top-down control. It's not democracy. It's not anything like democracy. And that most places can't talk about this. And that's what's so important about Infowars. And that's what I said for my report yesterday in front of the gate, saying, look, you need institutional power to be able to do stuff like this, to be able to send a reporter, at a split notice from Texas to London to cover this. And most places that have that institutional power, they're under the control of the greater institutions, right? So
that's right. We don't have any institutions. Right. And if you read the original Clinton Foundation documents from their law library, not the new foundation, but their presidential law library, the first thing they said in 1993 is we cannot allow conservative, Christian, or American-style institutions. We must stop the Western Journalism Center and Joseph Farah. So they said we can't let them sell books. We can't let them make money. We've got to call them conspiracy theorists, and we've got to ridicule them selling anything, because if they kickstart an economy, people are hungry for it, and it'll build an ecosystem.